Rabbi Bronner is easy to find. Just look for the Sfarim and you'll find the rabbi. Whether at shul or at home, he is always learning or teaching.
I spoke, but I wasn't allowed to speak more than 10 minutes. So I had to say something, Torah, in 10 minutes.
There's the story of Rabbi Akiva that said that when the fish were out of the water, they would die. If he wasn't learning, he would die. That's his key to life. He loves learning Torah.
Rabbi Bronner began life in Berlin. This is him on the first day of yeshiva with a cone full of candies, as was the tradition in the 1930s. But in 1936, when the Nazis were in power, his parents took the family to Belgium, where they lived for 4 years.
We had to leave Belgium 10th of May 1940. We had to pack up again.
Incredibly, the Jews leaving Belgium included the Bronners and their future Machatanim, the Monderers.
Just before the Nazis invaded the Benelux countries in 1940, the Jewish community realized this was going to happen, and en masse they made a transport of a caravan of cars fleeing ahead of the German panzer divisions that were attacking Belgium and Holland at that time.
We all ate only sardines in milk for 6 days. And these highways were full of cars. We were always 10 kilometers in front of the advancing German army.
Sag nit kein Mal, als du gehst dem letzten Weg. Gott schimmeln Leine verstellen Bläute.
The families went from Belgium to France and then tried to get visas to Spain.
The lines of people, not only of Jews, I've never saw this in my life. Such amount of people coming there, thousands and thousands, and the lines were over the streets all over to get the visa, the exit visa.
With Rabbi Bronner's quick thinking and knowledge of French, the family got to the head of the line.
I said, Monsieur, we have here a woman who is pregnant. What can you do? Oh, he said, Monsieur, come with me. And on that day, we left there. The border was closed for good forever.
They were very creative, and it took whatever period of time, but they, thank God, a large bulk of the community in Belgium managed to escape that way.
Rabbi and Dr. Bronner met and married in New York in 1949.
I was again the youngest of all in the Diamond Club. And the people came over to me to read Nashidach. I would say I was a catch.
I once went collecting for the Hatzolah for the people in Europe, and I went into his office. I didn't know who he was then, but later it came back that we argued and discussed the war, the Hatzolah. We always had similar ideas, but we also have different ideas. We're both strong personalities in our own right. We agree and disagree to agree.
It was diamonds that took the young Bronners from New York to South Africa.
We went for dinner and we stayed for 31 or 32 years.
In South Africa, they brought up their 3 children, Temi, Moshe, and Esti, and instilled in them their love of Torah.
He spent his life teaching Torah, firstly at the Yeshiva College, and all the years we grew up in South Africa, he was the rabbi of Bnei Akiva.
What describes amply my father in one Mishnah in Pirkei Avot is Mishnah Bet Bet, Yafeh Talmud Torah im Derech Eretz. That was his motto throughout life, to have a worldly occupation, but also to be occupied with the study of Torah.
My father was a very good educator, and my mom.
There wasn't anything they wouldn't do or spend the amount of money that they would make sure that we had the best education, the best teachers, and the best help always.
And even though diamonds are forever, their true legacy in South Africa was the yeshiva they built. The Yeshiva College of Johannesburg.
You have David Ben Gurion addresses the school. The ikar is you got to have a good yeshiva. There was no yeshiva at all. It became a big yeshiva. It's still working now. And it's the yeshiva today, over 1,200 people. And from this yeshiva, my children went to this yeshiva, and my son-in-law got from the, it was for girls and boys.
But that was a great inspiration for Esti and myself. And when the opportunity to build up Yavne came about, my father-in-law spoke to me and told me it's a very good thing, obviously from his experience, and I'd seen what he had done. And he had helped Esti and myself also in giving us tremendous advice while trying to build another community here in Los Angeles.
Saba, with his sense of humor, he has such a positive and wonderful outlook to life.
Our community got lucky when in 1984, Rabbi and Dr. Bronner decided to uproot one more time and move to Los Angeles to join Esti and Temi.
It was very difficult for them to come to Los Angeles because they were really like superstars in Johannesburg. I mean, they were so well known, not only in yeshiva, like the Jewish Federation, every single Jewish organization. My mother used to speak, my father was involved. So they were really like Jewish celebrities.
The Bronners brought their love of teaching to Yavne, both giving shiurim for more than 2 decades.
The amazing thing about his drushas on Shabbos is he managed to persevere for close to 50 years doing that. That's an incredible legacy, that someone is so dedicated and so determined to do it, that he continued even when it became a little bit more difficult to give that. He still felt it was most important.
Today, the Bronners have 9 grandchildren and 18 great-grandchildren with whom they share their wisdom and love of Torah.
I think we try to teach our children that your life, the individual is very important, but the community and the whole society is very important to build a life and to give to the community and to take. I hope that one day will take us to Tikkun Olam, to the redemption of the Jews and of the world.
It's a lesson his family learned well.
I think that's a great tribute to them, that they have built 2 tremendous communities, one in South Africa and one that we love over here. And it's great that the shul and the school, Yavne, has taken the time to really give him the recognition that he deserves, and my mother-in-law as well, for what they have done for the community.
I think that's the main message, that you've got to be involved in learning, you've got to be involved in making a living, and you've got to be involved in the community to give over. You've got to, not for yourself, but for the good of the community. You've got to build institutions.
Rabbi Hutner, he said the yeshiva, this is the key for community, for continuity of the Jewish people. You must have yeshivas. So I did my job there and here. That is my life.